So this is an unusual video for the channel, but anyone who follows our channel will know exactly where I am in just a minute because it's from a pretty famous video game called Kingdom Come Deliverance, which was actually free from the Epic Game Store. That's what we do on this channel. We play and review every free weekly game from the Epic Game Store. And years ago, one of the first games that I was really excited about. We have never had a free game like this. Maybe in the history of free games! Because we actually live in the Czech Republic, and this is a game that's very historical and set in real locations in medieval Czech Republic. And right behind me, what you're gonna see, anyone who has played the game will very quickly recognize Sasau Monestary. It is now in a town called Sasau on a river about an hour and a half southeast of Prague. Right over here, this door actually would go into the infirmary where you meet, what's her name? I can't remember what her name was, but a lot of quests actually start in there to help find things for the injured people, to help another refugee from the village that you flee from. It's really surreal being here, because it kind of feels like I'm in a video game. I spend so much time in this game that now being in a location that is so closely parallel and so similar to what I actually saw in the video game for hours and hours and hours, that I kind of have to convince myself that I'm not actually in a digital world right now. Right over here was the kitchen. Up there you can see there was the stable. And something that was really impressive and interesting about the game at the time was realizing that they decided to make one of the main towns have a cathedral that was unfinished. And I remember thinking, wow, that's really dedication to historical accuracy, to not, accelerate things a little bit, but to say in 1403 the cathedral wasn't finished, so therefore we're not going to have it finished in the game. But the fact is, actually, if the makers of the game came here and had a look, it's not finished now. What are we talking about? 600 years later, they never finished it. So if Warhorse Studios came here to do some research and they were looking around, well, what they saw, which would have been the situation in 1403 also, but now is very similar to what we see now. I remember right over there was some scaffolding that you can climb up to try to get inside the cathedral, and it's still unfinished. They never managed to finish it. Maybe it was the successive Hussite wars that actually kick off in the game Kingdom Come Deliverance, but for whatever reason they had big plans and it didn't really go anywhere. One other cool thing, if you remember, if you get into the monastery and you're able to kind of get around and get people's confidence, then there's this whole area behind it. We're just going to check it out now. And at the moment now, it was a garden held by the keeper of the land. And you had some quests also with him. I think you had to break into his house at one point. So now it's a beautiful public garden. And over in the end, there was a lonely little chapel. I remember feeling like it was kind of random and out of place. Well, there was a chapel right here. That's what's left of it. So at the time, even in the game, 1403, it looked ancient. It looked like a really old cathedral that had been there, not a cathedral, but a chapel that had been there long before everything else. And they decided to expand the monastery, build a cathedral. So that didn't manage to make it to the 21st century. But the Cathedral of Sasau, now the Cathedral of Sasau, well, what they managed to build by 1403, it's still there. So let me know down in the comments if you'd like to see any other real life locations for video games in the Czech Republic. and let me know if Sasau was your favorite town in Kingdom Come Deliverance. See you in the next video.